Hello and welcome to this video where I will be showing you how to make a wreath. This is a simple step-by-step guide, and of course you can add or change things as you go. My name is Megan and I run my own floristry business in Colchester in Essex, and if you'd like to follow along with my journey in floristry, then feel free to follow my channel. Right, let's get started. One of the first things you need to do when you're making a wreath is preparing your foliage. And it's important that you get a range of different evergreen foliage that you want to use. So here I'm just using some spruce, which will form the majority of my base. And this is pistache. Now, when you're cutting things for making a wreath, you want to, general rule of thumb, think about the size of a hand. That's how long-ish you want. I'm also going to use a little bit of eucalyptus just for another different texture. I have also got another type of eucalyptus here that's got much smaller leaves, so I might add a little bit of that in as well. You do need to clear a little bit of space so that you've got somewhere to attach your bundle of foliage to. So here you can see they came off really easily, but I need that clean bit of stem so that I can, in a minute, we're going to make little bundles of different types of lovely bits. You need to have that clean stem to do that. We can now prepare our other ingredients and elements. Again, you're going to use the same principles of about the size of your hand in terms of your pieces. And now this is where we start to actually build the wreath. So I'm using a mossed wreath ring. You can buy these already with the moss attached. A lot of people moss their own wreath rings. You can buy just metal rings. I just find it easier to use a pre-mossed ring. Okay, so I'm going to start by using some twine and literally just tying it around the base of the ring. And what you're going to do is you're going to create bundles of material, basically, and then you're going to tie those bundles of material onto the ring. That's it. It's as simple as that. And it's entirely up to you how you construct these bundles. You want to think about getting some foliage in there, so I would always start with foliage. Okay, that's going to give the bulk of your wreath. And then I would always add one or two little elements of kind of interest, as it were. Each of your bundles, you want to think about the width, because you want to cover and kind of bulk out that ring, but also the layers and the height to it as well. You don't want everything to be ending up the same height. So if this was my first bundle, and this is where it's important that you have a little bit of clean stem, I'm going to start by attaching that on the outside of the ring. Okay, the outside is where you want to create the most bulk of your wreath. And then you're simply going to make sure that you've got it nice and firmly there. Give it a good tug with your twine. Pass your twine through the whole of the wreath. Give it another tug. Go again. Make sure it's nice and firm. Don't worry about using loads and loads of twine. You're going to use loads of twine. So you're going to keep doing that. The only difference is that you might mix up what things you're putting in each bundle. There's not an exact recipe book that you're going to follow every time. The first one we put on the outside. Therefore, the second one we are going to put on the innermost edge of our wreath. You're going to follow in the direction of your clean edges of your stems here. So you want to come down on a diagonal. You don't want to do directly side by side or you're going to run out of space. So you want to come down and along a little bit. And then do the exact same, bringing that twine around a couple of times, making sure it is firmly, securely in. Okay, and you can see I'm going to keep going around the same way, and I'm going to alternate what I'm using in each of my bundles to really fill out that wreath. You can see I followed the same way around, and I tried to intermix all my different elements to give a nice full wreath. What you need to do to finish it off is to just gently turn it over, and you need to tie your string off at the end. I also like to leave a little loop of twine just to give my customers some flexibility as to how they're going to attach the wreath to wherever they're putting it. So that might be a nice little idea as well. So I'm now going to add some wired elements to this wreath, completely optional. You might want to use dried fruits like orange slices. I'm going to go with pine cones and also some bundles of cinnamon sticks as well. So I've wired these, so I've just literally looped some wire around them, twisted the wire back onto itself so that it's nice and stable, and left myself a long piece of wire. I'm actually going to find the twine that I used on my bundles and then hook the wire underneath that twine and twist it onto the twine. So here I can see some of my twine poking through. I'm feeding the wire through the twine and then pulling it back through. Okay, and you want to keep it nice and short because you don't want your pine cones kind of falling around, moving around on your wreath. Okay, and then I'm going to twist the wire around itself a couple of times. So I'm going to do that with my pine cones and also my little bundles of cinnamon sticks. Okay, so our final touch is going to be to add some red ribbon. Of course, you can use any kind of ribbon that you want. I've chosen a wire edged ribbon. That just means there's a tiny bit of wire in the seam on the edges. It just holds its shape a little bit better than, you know, a standard ribbon. But what you want to do is you want to basically make like the cancer research kind of loop like that. So it's looping over itself. And you're going to grab this top bit and you're just going to place it on top of the crossover section here. And you can see that makes a lovely bow. So that's how you make a Christmas wreath. Of course, you could change the elements that you use. You could use different types of foliage, different dried flowers, different wired ingredients. That's entirely up to you. And this could be scaled up or scaled down as well. If you enjoyed this video, please do give it a like, a comment, subscribe to my channel, and feel free to let me know if there's any other videos you'd like to see me doing. Thanks, and bye for now.